Hi everyone, this is Erin from Embrace Yoga. I'm here in the studio today to talk to you about this week's theme, which is bravery. This is a concept that will show up on your mat again and again, maybe from the very first moment that you begin to practice yoga. When I was a beginning student, I was terrified, and just coming to a class, making it to a studio, and getting through that hour was a huge feat of bravery. I would come a half hour early and set myself up in the back corner and just pray that no one would notice me. But the more I kept practicing and the more I got comfortable in a studio, that fear started to dissipate. And I would feel really proud of myself afterwards for making it through the class and for going, and I'd feel better in my body, so I would do it all over again. And then as I continued to practice yoga, I started to be able to act bravely in different ways. This will show up with the actual poses themselves. Sometimes we see a pose and we think, oh, no way, that is not for me, I will never do that, and maybe that's true. But maybe you move towards it just a little bit. You try just to kind of taste the pose, and then eventually maybe you start to do the pose, and then you actually get to a point where you're like, wow, I did that. And that's not the point of yoga. It doesn't matter if you are getting into a certain shape or you're not. The point is that we sit with ourselves with whatever that pose brings up, whether it's fear or whether it's the need to stay safe and not do it. That's fine. We just honor where we're at. The point of yoga is not to get attached. We don't get attached to what we view as a failure or what we view as a success. It's like, can we just be neutral and do the practice and show up and just be present for whatever happens with it? Now I start to really be able to address these bigger life fears of mine on my yoga mat. Particularly right now, it's the fear of going out on my own and opening a studio. I think that the bravest thing I've ever done is to do this, to leave the safety and comfort of my job. But the thing I'm most proud of doing is giving birth to my daughter. And the difference is that, once I got pregnant, there was no choice. The baby had to come out. The baby's got to come out one way or the other. So you're kind of forced into this act of bravery, which happens sometimes. But it's different when we have a conscious choice, when we can recognize that there are parts of our life that are out of alignment, that we're not aligned with our highest self. And we get this little whisper that it's like, it's time to change something. It's time to make a shift. And that can be really scary. And sometimes we say, no, I don't want to do it. I want to stay comfortable. I want to stay here where it's safe. But sometimes we just know we don't have a choice and we have to be brave and take that risk. And that could look like opening your heart to someone new in a new relationship. It could be moving to a different place. It could be a career shift. It could be just speaking your truth to someone when you don't know how it's going to be received. Or maybe it's just the bravery of being able to be with yourself, with your own emotions, with sadness or grief, or with your own jealousy, or whatever kind of shadow emotion that comes up. And that's the thing about yoga, is that it gets this rap that it's all about love and light, and that's true. We love love and light, but yoga is so much bigger than that. Yoga is about the light and the shadow and the balance, and that we can't have one thing without the other. Yoga's unity of being with all parts of ourselves and this human experience. So to be brave, you have to have fear. There can be no bravery without fear. Yoga asks us to look at what we're afraid of, to say, okay, I recognize that here's fear, and to change something anyway, right? To move forward in spite of that. That's what our yoga practice can give us. So this week we'll focus on opening up the heart. We have a tendency to, if you were going to be attacked right now, you would go like this, right? You would protect all of your major organs and you would get really small. It's a defense mechanism. And life kind of will do that to us, whether it's just from habitual driving or being at the computer. We kind of have a tendency to close off the heart. And one of the reasons yoga makes us feel so good is that we can open up the heart, we can open up the chest, we can find that fearless expansion by being open-hearted. So doing heart-opening poses, some back bends, will help you to find this feeling, this courageous feeling that will allow us to move closer to those things that we want in our lives, that we're most aligned with. This week in Yin, we'll will be working on the lung meridian, which runs down the arms. So we'll do a lot of chest openers this way. And it's funny, the emotion that's tied to the lung meridian is courage. So we need this in order to be brave and fearless. I hope that this helped to maybe inspire you to recognize the things that you're afraid of and move towards the things that you want to be most aligned with anyway. And I hope to see you on your mat soon and that you have a very wonderful day. Namaste.